today in Nigeria, if I fall or I drop on the road, I see accidents on the road. The last time I came around to Nigeria, people were just taking mobile phone to take pictures of those kind of a thing. Now, why? Because there's no emergency response, because the value of life actually is very low. These are the reasons to that. If you can address all these things, you will really realize that majority of these people that are living for the reason of hopelessness, for the reason of not seeing that green light, they will be retained. Definitely, like we rightly said, you cannot take away migration. Migration historically has always been the benefit of every country. Let me give you an example. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I was growing up, I remember how we used to describe the Chinese people in Nigeria. I want to say that on national TV. You can imagine what happened 30 years after to the Chinese. Imagine 15 years ago, some phones in Nigeria, I don't want to give an advert to them. We used to call them, in local language, a palasa phone. These phones today in Nigeria, they cost over $500,000. Why? Because these guys grew over time. They appreciated their journey 20 years ago. When we used to buy their TV, their radio, 30 years ago, we used to call them fake. In fact, we call them something make. I don't want to be ethnic about it. But today, they are the one that dominate Nigerian market. You go to every home today, out of 10 homes, 7 homes have their electronics. Why? Because they built themselves over time, appreciated their journey, and their people migrated across the world. We see them today in Nigeria. And so we need to encourage it, but encourage it in a positive way, in such a way that it add value to us as a country.
Right, Olanrewaju, I'd like to stay with you on the point that you made earlier, that last time you were in Nigeria, you saw an accident and then people were taking pictures. I feel these are some of the things that we say about Nigeria that's not completely correct. Reason being that we've seen places, houses that have gone ablaze, and then you see firefighters coming down there to rescue situations. Sometimes they are able to rescue it. We see collapsed buildings where emergency responders are really, on top of their game. It may not be 100%. So what would you say as regards, the kind of narrative and the kind of perspective that, some Nigerians have about their own country, which necessarily is not the same? Because even outside of the country, there are some things that go wrong where the citizens will be saying the government is not on top of their games. But then you hardly see this on the social media. So how would you advise Nigerians in terms of seeing their country in a better perspective as against the negative narrative we sell to the outside world?
Thank you very much for that question, because I'm an extremely patriotic Nigerian and I advocate a lot for this. This is why if you go online today, you see I'm an advocate of Japa with pride. I don't think you should be desperate to leave the country. You should leave the country with pride. And that's what I advocate for. Let me give you a context to that, yeah? So I was a former Senate president when I was in school in OAU. And everybody knows what I drive for. And I drive for a slogan called the new breed of Nigerians, of the younger ones that will change the narrative. But let me tell you a positive side of it that we also put on the national TV. Today, I'm in the UK. May I tell you, and you can use me as a reference, I've not been able to get an appointment, for example, with the medical service. You go online today, go to their parliament, there are a lot of issues. The medical attention in the UK is going down. Emergency response, good, but medical attention, basic medical attention, you couldn't get it. My personal story as an example, my 2 boys had chickenpox. I called NHS more than 10 times. No response from anybody until I had to find a solution to myself. I had to flare up with the individuals on the phone with me. My son had chickenpox. Guys, what is happening here? In Nigeria, we had medical insurance. My son had chickenpox. What do? I get into my car, get to the hospital, and get tested. So oftentimes, we paint Nigeria very bad. Let me give you more example to that. I wanted to do a full body check, right? I booked an appointment to get this done. I'm not able to do that. What did I do? I came to Nigeria, get my medical check done. So oftentimes people push a narrative that we are bad, but we are not as bad as painted. Let me give you more example to that. Our nurses, we school you in Nigeria. Somebody say, academic system in Nigeria is very bad. It is not true. I schooled my first degree in Nigeria. I had my MBA in Nigeria. I went to Japa Polytechnic in Nigeria with a distinction. I came to UK. I also had a master's in Cranfield University. And I could compare myself with anybody in the world. We came from one of the best schools in the world. They couldn't compete with us. So we can say Nigeria is bad because we want it to be better than where it is today. But guess what? Nigeria is extremely very good on many areas. The same nurse that we train in Nigeria, the same nurse comes to UK, writes one exam, becomes a full-time nurse in the UK. The same doctor we train in Nigeria that we abuse, come to the UK, write an exam, becomes a doctor in the UK. Nobody says you need to be a doctor afresh. Then give credit to Nigeria. So, well, we can be better across all sides. We can be better in many areas. Some things you hear and you just grin. However, we are good in many areas. Last one, to get these glasses. I had to get these glasses from Nigeria. To get the glasses here is freaking a lot of money. So these are the things, because it's painted, oh, there's medical insurance in the UK, there's medical this one in the US and co. It's not true across the board. It's just narrative. And I think the media can also do a lot of work to let people know that these are the things you need to do. I don't want to talk about people that come here to study. I don't want to talk about it. I charge the journalists in Nigeria today, and maybe TBC can take it up. Please do a survey. I've done my survey myself. Do a survey, anonymous survey of Nigerians who have come to the UK to study their masters. I can bet with you today that 7 out of 10 of them, they don't get job after they leave or they finish their masters. Then why do you insult Nigeria? People have to resort into the other things. So we are good as a country. We can do a lot of things more as a country, retain our best of talent, but there's a limit to what you can do about it. Let's create an enabling environment for them to try. For those that stay back, and for those that leave, also find a way to attract them back to Nigeria to be able to contribute more to Nigeria as a whole.